There is a peculiar kind of success in life that comes at a steep price, though it is superficially lauded, admired, and above all applauded. Behind all that radiant glory lies something few people notice, the gradual but unmistakable loss of a deep connection to oneself, the truth within. Many rush to build careers, collect credentials, and chase achievements, believing these will bring happiness. Yet in the midst of that impressive list of accomplishments, something vital begins to quietly crack. Invisible to others, not immediately apparent, but undeniably real. That something is the connection to your true self, the person you genuinely were. Today's world offers countless pre-packaged life paths and models that claim to fit everyone. These paths feature familiar markers of success: a college degree, a stable career, a good income, a house, a car, and a family. But when you blindly follow this life script without questioning it, you risk losing touch with your authentic self. Even after reaching these milestones, instead of joy or celebration, you might feel deeply alienated, as if you're living someone else's life, experiencing an unsettling inner displacement. This feeling, though hard to put into words, weighs heavily on your soul and suffocates your spirit. Carl Jung, the great psychologist, did not view success the way modern society commonly does. He said, "True victory is not conquering the external world or gaining status and wealth, but preserving the integrity of the soul throughout life's journey. When that integrity is damaged, no matter how many career steps you climb, inside you still feel empty, like an important part of yourself has been broken and is waiting to be healed." This does not mean you should abandon the world around you or fantasize about running away. Instead, you need to reclaim your center, feel authentic in every decision you make, and most importantly, recognize that success gained by betraying yourself is at best a badly negotiated deal. The question is no longer what you have achieved, but what parts of yourself you had to give up to get there. This video is an invitation to pause, not to give up, but to change direction. It is for those who have realized that applause and external praise cannot fill the deep void inside, and also for those who sense, even vaguely, that something essential is waiting to be rescued in their soul. There are no formulas or easy answers, only one path. Return to yourself without fear of losing what was never truly yours. Take a moment to reflect deeply. How many of your recent decisions were truly yours? How many times did you say yes when you really wanted to say no? How often did you accept praise for achievements that didn't truly bring joy to your heart? Living authentically and performing a role in life are completely different things. Many people, maybe you included, have learned to act so well that they can no longer distinguish performance from reality. Jung called this the identification with the persona, the social mask we wear. This is no longer just an abstract concept, but everyday reality. How you behave at work, with friends and family. How you choose words to appear professional, pleasant, mature. How you suppress emotions and restrain natural impulses just to fit in. Constantly playing a role exhausts you and alienates you from yourself. Relationships become based on the image you project, not on your true self. Even surrounded by many people, you may feel utterly lonely because no one truly knows who you are, and perhaps you don't even recognize yourself anymore. This disconnection doesn't happen overnight, but seeps in gradually through small compromises: swallowing anger, accepting others' expectations, measuring your words, editing spontaneity. Then one day, you wake up feeling, life is passing me by. Herein lies the danger. The world continues to applaud you for staying on track, for being efficient and successful. But no one notices the silent hole growing inside you, a hole that makes no noise but slowly eats away at your soul. As long as you function well, no one questions your pain.
It manifests as sudden anxiety, sleepless nights, and an emptiness that no success can fill. This truth is harsh but necessary. If you keep performing, you will forget how to be yourself. Then only a well-functioning body remains, empty of soul. Before you lose yourself completely, stop and bravely ask, who am I presenting to the world, and who is suffocating inside for that version to exist? When the success you chase becomes a trap distancing you from your true self, we must confront that reality. From childhood, you were taught success equals happiness. Get a degree, a stable job, financial security, and life will be fine. But few tell you it's possible to achieve all that and still feel lost because the success society values rarely aligns with your soul's needs. The problem isn't success itself, but when it becomes the sole measure of life's value, consuming all your time, energy, choices, and relationships. You sacrifice crucial parts of yourself to get there. The closer you get, the more you realize there might be no real destination, just an endless race. Jung said, the unlived life is a disease that can kill. Think about how many people follow all the success rules yet suffer emotional pain, broken relationships, and a constant feeling that something is wrong. This is no coincidence. It is the inevitable result of living disconnected from your true essence. Success based only on external goals forces you to mold yourself to environments that don't welcome the real you, to accept journeys that crush your creativity, sensitivity, and spontaneity. This is called professional growth, but few discuss the internal erosion it causes. You climb a ladder that might be leaning against the wrong wall. When you've invested too much, you feel you can't turn back. The image you built becomes a shackle you must maintain. Success becomes a trap, locking you into a life you can't abandon without feeling like a failure. True failure isn't changing course, it's continuing on a path that drains you just because it looks right on paper. Failure is becoming a stranger to yourself to keep up appearances. Failure is ignoring inner warnings just because everyone else says you're fine. The good news is you still have time if you have the courage to face the truth. Success without alignment with self is subtle self-sabotage. The sooner you realize this, the better chance you have to restart authentically. How do you know if you're losing yourself? Observe your decisions. How many come from true conviction? How many are made out of fear of disappointing others? When you say, I want, is it your core desire or others' expectations? Notice moments you silence yourself, censor your voice, avoid conflict, not out of maturity, but fear of being different. Every time you hold back to preserve an image, you lose a piece of yourself. Notice your energy daily. Do you end the day exhausted or fulfilled? Do your activities nourish or drain you? Living disconnected dulls your senses, and you begin to accept that as normal. Another sign, emotions become erratic or numb. Small frustrations trigger exaggerated responses, or meaningful moments pass unnoticed. When disconnected, the unconscious demands payment. Repressed feelings and neglected needs build pressure until they leak out. You begin to lose your identity. Person at work, with friends, family, none feel truly you. It's like you're trying to live multiple versions others expect without accessing your own essence. This also makes solitude difficult because silence forces you to face what you avoid, not knowing what moves you, what you truly want, what gives life meaning. These are symptoms of a life drifting off axis, subtle, persistent background pain and restlessness despite external success. Now that you can recognize these signs, the next question is, how do you begin listening to yourself again? How do you rebuild real connection with your feelings, thoughts, and desires without destroying the life you've built? In the next part, we'll explore practical solutions and tools to start your inner return. The good news? Losing yourself isn't the end. It's a silent call from your unconscious to come home, and that home is you. But this return isn't automatic. It requires intention, presence, and above all, action. So let's set aside theory and dive into real, accessible practices that serve as bridges back to yourself. The first practice is simple but transformative. radical listening to silence. Not meditation with relaxing music or apps, but literally stopping without distractions. No phone, no agenda, no external noise. Just you and silence. It seems easy, but is almost unbearable if you're disconnected, because in silence, all the internal voices you've ignored start screaming. This discomfort is the price of reconnection. Another powerful practice is Jung's dialogue with the unconscious, initiated through deep journaling. Take a notebook and write everything that comes to mind without censorship, without trying to sound intelligent or coherent. Write as if no one will ever read it, because no one will. This exercise opens a direct channel to the silenced part of you, where dormant truths emerge: memories, anger, sadness, forgotten desires. All of it needs to be welcomed without judgment. Add daily rituals of symbolic reconnection: a walk without music to listen to your body, cooking mindfully as self-care, or saying no to small things to feel the power of your own will respected. These small acts send a powerful message to your unconscious that you have returned and are ready to take control of your life. Another crucial step is progressive sincerity. Gradually practice living more aligned with your true thoughts and feelings. This doesn't mean impulsively revealing everything or cutting ties, but noticing where you hide yourself most and beginning to express yourself there. Each small, authentic choice rebuilds the psychic structure, reconnecting you to yourself. Know that this path requires deconstruction, which can be frightening, because the more you live from yourself, the more you displease others, especially those who benefited from your performance. The next part will address one of the hardest and most liberating stages: the pain of disappointing others. This pain is inevitable and paradoxically a sign you are finally starting to live authentically. When you begin saying no to what you once accepted and set boundaries where you only adapted, people notice, sometimes not calmly. You'll see small reactions: a colleague bothered you no longer fit in, a relative offended you didn't follow their plan, a friend shocked by your honesty, and the silent looks urging you to revert to performance. The truth is, when you live more honestly, you break invisible emotional contracts that existed for years. Most people aren't disappointed with the real you, but with the version they created. That disappointment is not with your truth, but with the image you maintained to sustain unbalanced relationships. This painful process is also a sign of rebirth. Each time you disappoint someone by being true, you affirm a new pact with your own soul. This takes courage, because the natural impulse is to retreat, apologize, and return to performance to preserve affection. Yet the harsh truth: avoiding this pain almost always means disappointing yourself, silencing legitimate desires, suffocating uncomfortable truths, and living in conditioned, unauthentic relationships. Jung called individuation the process of separation from the masses, inherited values, and social roles that no longer serve you. This hurts because you will seem strange, inconvenient, even selfish for a time. But there is no true self-discovery without losing what is not you. Over time, something magical happens. Relationships that remain become real and nourishing because they are based on who you are, not what you offer as a mirror or shield. New connections arise grounded in truth, not performance. This begins a new cycle where success is no longer measured by applause, status, or acceptance, but by the deep, quiet power to recognize yourself in the mirror and feel peace. And with this image, we conclude our journey, where true success ceases to be a race and becomes internal reconciliation, a life finally whole again. In the end, it doesn't matter how many goals you've achieved, how many diplomas hang on your wall, or how many zeros are in your bank account. What truly matters and weighs on your heart is the reflection you see when facing yourself in the silence of the night, when masks fall and the noise of the world fades, just you with yourself. Carl Jung reminds us the soul has its own rhythm. It doesn't chase goals or get impressed by achievements. The soul wants truth, integration, and wholeness. If you spend your life fitting external success models, you sacrifice what would make you complete, your authenticity. True success is not a finish line or a plaque saying, "I made it," but a continuous process of internal alignment, a commitment to live courageously even when truth is uncomfortable, a pact with your conscience to never abandon yourself again, even if it means disappointing others, starting over, or making decisions no one understands. Here's a secret few dare to admit. Living your truth hurts at first, but liberates in the end. You may lose some people, opportunities, even stability, but you will gain something nothing else can replace. Where will you start today? Share in the comments below. Not just an interaction, but a public affirmation of your truth. If this video resonated with you, don't stop here. The next video continues this journey. The path to self-awareness is long, but every conscious step you take is a silent victory over all that tried to make you forget yourself. See you in the next part.